And look, it's clear that Taylor Swift is a marketing master without really trying. The NFL is worth over $140 billion, but when Swift goes to a game, they take advantage of it. They even change their X headline photos. So for more on the marketing mania that is Taylor Swift, we want to bring in Marcus Collins. He is the University of Michigan Raw School of Business marketing professor. He is also an author. Thank you so much for joining us, Marcus. So first, blanket statement here. When you think about Taylor Swift and how she is this marketing mastermind, I'm going to play to some of her songs there. Why? How has she kind of cultivated this identity?
I think what Taylor Swift has done is twofold. One, she has identified who she is beyond just being an artist, beyond just being someone who makes music. She's an icon. She represents something. She represents a certain brand of feminism. And so she transcends the category in which she operates. The second part is that she's cultivated a community, not just fans who like the music, but a group of people who self-identify by their membership in the community, i.e. Swifties. And therefore, they see the world similar to the way that Taylor Swift does. And her personhood becomes a way by which they represent their identity. And that's super powerful for brands writ large.
Marcus, I gotta admit, even I'm becoming a convert here. I've watched the documentaries. I've looked at potentially purchasing tickets to the concert here, and I feel like every day I'm growing closer to the official title of Swiftie. I'm not there yet, but you give her so much credit for how well the team around her and herself have been able to put on a show that brings everybody in and gives them a sense of what to expect. You look around her and all of the capitalizing on where there's merchandise and where they can continue to make sure that she's in the public spotlight, and now the movie. So all of these things considered, what is the lesson that anyone who is trying to market themselves should take away from Taylor Swift?
Yeah. Well, everything around Taylor Swift's orbit is perfectly curated. But I think the major takeaway for marketers, for leaders, for entrepreneurs, for anyone who's trying to present themselves to the world in a compelling way, is that you have to start with, how do you see the world? What's your worldview? What's your ideology? The point of view you have on the world. And everything that you do should be a demonstrative representation of that, an expression of that. We see that in her music. We see it in the way that she lives her life. We see it in the things that she speaks out about. These things are all reflections of who she is. So for marketers, for brands, for content creators, we have to ask ourselves, who are we? And then who sees the world the way we do? And how do we use our resources trying to facilitate connection, facilitate those covalent bonds that connect us with people? When that happens, we activate a network effect that starts to reverberate into the population, i.e. converting you. Taylor Swift isn't talking to you, but it is the cacophony of the people who are now part of this community that is persuading you to go a certain way, to consume a certain thing, and to self-identify a certain way. And that is unbelievably powerful.
Marcus, a prime example of this, and a company here trying to really capitalize on Taylor Swift's brand, is the NFL. What do you think of this strategy that we've seen from the league over the last couple of weeks, and what that really signals just about the direction or the hope that the league is trying to steer the direction towards in the future?
The league is definitely benefiting from the Taylor Swift effect. And so I say the Taylor Swift network effect. But I think that what the league has to realize is that this is temporal, and that people's attention is because of their proximity to Taylor. But if Taylor stops coming to games, if she stops attending because her travel schedule picks up, then if there's not any relevance between the game and those people who are there because of their affiliation with Taylor, then those people are definitely going to lose those people, right? There's going to be an attrition of those folks. So the NFL should be thinking about, what is it about who they are as a brand and a branded product that is the game, and who are these people, and how do we find congruence in a meaningful way? I mean, I think the most interesting part about all this is that, like, Taylor didn't even wear a jersey to that first game, right? But the jersey sales went up. And that means that within these people, these communities of people, they were negotiating what is acceptable behavior for people like themselves. And that's the unbelievable part. That is the most powerful part about Taylor Swift, her ability to facilitate community.
She didn't wear the jersey. She wasn't sure if Tay wanted to be Bay just yet, but maybe at a future game she'll be rocking a jersey. Who knows? I'm just going to throw that out there, Marcus. But even as we think about the economic impact that Taylor Swift, that Beyonce, that Barbie have had over the course of this summer, it has been the summer of women powering the economy through some of the marketing, through some of the events. And now for a person like Taylor, who knows herself, who knows her audience as well, how powerful all of this could be going into, I'll be the person to say it, going into a 2024 general election. How powerful do many of these themes also transpire into next year?
Yeah, I mean, we see a common theme between Beyonce, Taylor, and Barbie. It's not just because they were women-led, but because they are representing a brand of feminism, an ideology, a point of view about the world. And if we look at current politics, there's a lot of attack on women, on women's personhood, on women's autonomy, on their agency. And the idea scenario is that these outlets, these vehicles become cultural vessels by which people can engage in conversation in such a way that is reflected in how they vote. I mean, I think the most powerful thing of all this is that people aren't consuming because of what these things are. They're consuming because of who they are, because of their cultural subscription, how they see the world. And it's being manifested or made material through their consumption. And the hope as we enter into a political season that we'll see those things manifest in the way in which people show up to the ballot box, the way people advocate for certain policies, and the way people show up in communities to guide a certain agenda forward.
Marcus Collins, University of Michigan Ross School of Business, marketing professor and author. Marcus, always a pleasure to get some of your insights. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks so much for having me.